Hi, this is Grace.
And I'm Prisca.
And this is the Fighting Club, a space where being together makes us stronger.
Fighting! So we're going to start with our Rosebud segment, which do you want to explain quickly again for our listeners?
Rosebud is kind of a status check to see how we're doing. We want to see for 2024, a Rosebud is what is the hope for the future. Rose is our exciting thing, positive thing that happened, and the thorn is something negative. So Prisca, what is your Rosebud for 2024?
My Rosebud / hope or exciting thing for the year is I just got offered a spot in an intensive acting course. So I'm really excited to do that. And I love intense stuff, and it's going to be a small class. And I love learning in community, so I'm really looking forward to it.
My Rosebud is looking for a new place to move to. We're currently living in Brooklyn, and our friend is just really generous in letting us stay there temporarily for a good cost. But I really want to live near an H Mart and have access to Korean groceries and Korean food. I didn't realize how important it was until I realized I have to get everything delivered to my home through which is the Asian grocery delivery app. I don't know if you've heard of it, but that's my Rosebud for 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your thorn?
My thorn, so is that anything negative that happened or
either way,
happening?
Just for 2024, anything
2024
what you anticipate could be bad or what has already been kind of tough this year?
I think one of the things that's on my mind is as the school year starts again is just sort of that anxiety of balancing everyone's schedule. So just being a family of 4 and the kids getting older, like everybody has their individual schedule that we all have to negotiate with each other. So that's always a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
My thorn, I think is kind of my health, actually. I've been traveling a lot this year. This summer I traveled every week to a new state, and my body just has not been adjusting well.
Yeah.
I have like a weak stomach, as you know, and so I've just been drinking a lot of ginger ale and taking omeprazole, and it's just like, and again, chaeso, which in Korean means like intense indigestion. I've been pricking my finger to let the bad blood out, and even that's not working. So that's been a thorn.
How about a rose? Do you have something that kind of is offsetting some of the stress?
I think I'm really excited about just all of the Koreans who are so excited for Kamala Harris. Honestly, like some of my friends who've never gotten engaged with politics ever before, they're just super excited about her. And then also, I don't know if you heard about Andy Kim, who's a Congress member in New Jersey. He would become the first Korean American senator ever. So Koreans have a lot to be excited about, Korean Americans in the U.S. So I'm just excited for November and hoping it all works out. Yeah. What about you?
Something that has been another thing, I guess, along with other things that I've mentioned that has been fun and positive is helping out with the Stand Together event that's taking place in October in Atlanta, which you invited me to be part of the planning. So I think I just get really excited about stuff that's happening in Atlanta, even though I don't live there anymore. I still consider it like my home, and that's where my family is.
Totally. I'm really excited about that convening power of our community and how it's a month before Election Day. So it's a nonpartisan civics and culture event, kind of like an Asian American South by Southwest. So I'm really excited too. It's going to be great to just be back with our friends in Georgia, our family, and then a broader AAPI community and allies. So,
So if we have any listeners out there who are in Atlanta and you want to come out, show up.
Yeah, stand together, AAPI.com. You can find more details. It's October 5th. On the Saturday, it's family friendly and it'll be free. So get excited for October 5th.
All right, so let us move on to the topic of the day.
Yes, what is it, Prisca?
Friendship.
Okay, let's do it.
Friendship.
So
I guess mostly we want to talk about like what are those elements of friendship that make a friendship long lasting and enduring.
Your favorite word.
Enduring. It's a great word.
Yes. It is a good word.
And so touching on our own friendship and what has kind of brought us this far and maybe things that have changed over the course of our friendship and talking about our personal experiences in general.
So are you going to talk about what is friendship first?
Yes. Do you want to
elaborate on
that?
Sure. Friendship, I think it's sometimes it's a bond and connection between two different people who are not necessarily biologically related, although you could be friends with your family members too. And there's this Korean word jeong, Jeong, and it's this bond and connection that you have with someone else where you can just be fully yourself. But I think there are different levels of friendship too. So there could be more like lighter friendships and deeper friendships.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a spectrum.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about this friendship study that I heard about. It was, I think it was in a NPR or New York Times podcast. We'll have to cite it later in the notes, but it showed in the 2023 study that the Epidemiology and Psychiatric Sciences Journal found friendships in older adults were associated with some instances of better physical health, health behaviors, and just better mental health overall.
Yes. And
Do you believe that?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
There are a lot of studies on that, and it's related to, have you heard of oxytocin?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
So some people call it the love
pheromones
hormone or something, because you experience it in a romantic relationship or even when you're nursing a baby and you experience it in friendship. And so it's this hormone that's released that makes you feel pretty much happy.
Yeah.
And so actually lower levels of oxytocin is related to like depression and anxiety and feeling stressed. And it actually has a cumulative effect where when you experience the oxytocin, it triggers more of its release.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's why they also talk about the runner's high, right? When you run, it releases oxytocin, and then they get addicted to just running because of the oxytocin that it releases. I mean, that's what
is it oxytocin?
That's what I heard.
Endorphins?
Oh, is that different? Sorry.
I think so.
What's the difference?
I think maybe just different hormones.
Oh,
what it's
okay.
called. I don't
Got
know,
it.
but let's check it.
Let's check it.
Keep it if it's accurate. Take it out if it's yeah. So yeah, definitely there is scientific studies that back that up, like in terms of your mental health and your physical health.
Yeah.
And things like blood pressure.
I
So
totally believe
having
that.
Positive friendships and long-lasting friendships does actually make you
like ours.
Yeah, like it does contribute to your physical health and mental health.
And I think it extends your lifespan too.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. Honestly, when I get really old, like a harmony or a Korean grandma, I want to live like next to all my good friends, like have you there, Christine, just everyone nearby, and we're just like eating kimchi jjigae
and
or
so
kimbap,
I mean
watching
that
K-dramas.
actually reminds me of a really interesting book that I read called Happy City. And I read it a long time ago, so I don't remember too much, but basically it was talking about it's mainly focused on like urban design, urban planning, but what is like the most, like the prime setup for
happiness.
Like happiness.
Yeah.
And it said something about like you live close to your friends or people that you trust, but you have a shared space,
Yeah.
but you also have the private spaces that you can
Yes.
kind of retreat to.
Yes.
So having a good balance of the shared and common space and also boundaries where you have your, can go into your cave or something.
I mean, that's like Trevor's dream,
Yeah.
to have a commune that we all live together,
Yeah.
have a shared
Yeah.
space in our
So
own
I could
individual
only
homes.
do that if I have the
Separation.
the
Yes.
separation. The boundaries are
So
really important.
boundaries are important. We'll talk about
Yes.
healthy and unhealthy boundaries in
Yeah.
friendship too. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and I'm just like really grateful for our friendship that helps me deal with all the stressors in life and helps me have access to oxytocin. And I do feel just like better overall. I think it
Yeah.
helps even with my digestive issues to be able to like hang out with friends
a lot of
and relax.
laughing and
Yes.
silliness, but also serious
Yeah.
times. It's a good balance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why don't we talk about our own experiences in friendship
Yeah.
from like our teens into our 20s and 30s?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any stories to share?
Yeah, and we could share like what made it a good friendship versus not so
It
good.
can be anything. It
Could
can
be
it can
anything?
just it can show just sort of
Okay.
change over time.
Yeah.
What we learned maybe.
Okay, I can think of one story. In Korean American culture in particular, there's a lot of comparison. Our parents do a lot of that. Like, look at this kid. My daughter went to Ivy League school. Did your daughter go to Ivy League school or Ivy League reject school? Which is kind of what people think of Boston College, but I thought it was a great school.
Is Emery considered that too?
Probably. We're both Ivy League rejects. But I think I was always compared to one of my friends growing up, and she just excelled more in school and better grades and leadership stuff in high school. So our parents would compare us to each other, and it was really frustrating because it made us resent each other.
Oh, so that it bled into your friendship.
Yeah, it made it unnecessary competition, but we didn't see each other's competition, but our parents were competitive. And so it affected the dynamics of our friendship.
So you're always cognizant of.
Of course.
Yeah. Because
Very
what you
aware.
do affects the other person. Their accomplishment affects you, and what
parents
you
talk
hear
about
from your
us.
parents.
And the parents are
Yeah.
friends. It's just so that was like a uncomfortable reality that probably a lot of Korean American children and kids go through. And I definitely don't want to be that kind of parent. So hopefully, if
Yeah,
I do,
yeah.
you need to call me out. So yeah, that's a story from my teenage years.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm trying to think when I was a teenager. I feel like, and I feel like this is true for both of us, we've always been able to find like good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But I
agree.
think I would say, just speaking for myself, when I was in I think in my teens, I was a little bit more like self-protection mode, where I don't know if I really shared a lot about myself.
Yeah.
Like looking back, I can see kind of what was going on with myself and like share about that. But as I was living it, I don't think I
Right.
really understood
Yeah.
what was going on. I think I was a little bit depressed, honestly, and a little bit like dark and moody. But not that I was always like that with my friends. I think my friends were sort of my escape
Yes.
from sort of my troubles. You know, not that I had like major troubles, but I think that's why I went over to your house a lot, because it's just like my happy place.
Oh, it's like your safe
And-
haven, refuge.
Yeah,
kind of
but then
place.
what's interesting is I feel like I went the other way, like maybe in college, where I didn't really know how to be vulnerable. So I was just vulnerable with everyone. Like I didn't.
Oh, you overshared.
I overshared. I was an oversharer.
You were
Which
emotionally like leaking everywhere.
what I the consequence of that, I would say, is maybe some people thought that we were closer than I had imagined it to be.
Because you just share so much.
Because
of yourself.
yeah, I mean, because vulnerability
Yeah.
is a sign of trust
Intimacy.
and yeah.
Building intimacy.
And so I can see why it gave off those vibes, and that was my bad.
Wait, so
but yeah.
is that why you studied to go into social work? Because of like just dealing with your emotional stuff, you think?
No, I don't think
Not
that was
separate?
why I went
Okay.
into it. I just wanting to do social work, I think, I just wanted to help people and just be in the work of doing that. But then when I went to social work school, some of my coursework was had to do with counseling
Yeah.
and like some of that clinical work. And
Right.
I think when I took those courses, I was forced to face a lot of myself. And that's when I kind of I realized I was over disclosing. And that's where I started, I would say, like maybe healing some
Your
of those
healing
parts
journey.
that were bleeding out and learning how to be a more healthy person.
And a healthy friend.
Yeah. I
a
mean, I
healthy
think I'm still
person.
learning how to be a good friend,
Of
but
course.
that's sort of where the journey started, was when I went to grad school.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But it was hard to be taking classes and going through all these
God, I
self-realizations
cannot
at the same time.
Yeah.
I was so young.
Yeah, your early 20s when we were in New York.
Yeah. So I would
Partying.
say I'm thinking a lot, I guess, about what I contributed into friendship and how I was different, from my teens to my 20s and now my 30s. I think I feel a little bit more grounded in myself. And I learned a lot about, vulnerability and boundaries and all that. But all of that came later.
So what is an enduring friendship that has lasted from your teenage years to your 20s to now in our late 30s?
I would say you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were the elements that do you think allow for our friendship to be enduring? Your favorite word?
Yeah. Well, I think something that I really like is that we know when to be silly and when to be serious. Like we'll have moments where we're unhinged and we're like accepting of that.
Yeah. No judgment.
Dancing or
we love
laughing or like rolling around
Outside.
No,
on
that
the
sounds
ground.
weird. But like it's just like kind of these crazy moments that I don't really show to everybody.
True. Me
Yeah,
too.
it's almost like I can bring back my inner child.
Me too.
Yeah,
I feel
so
the same.
I need that.
Yeah.
But then also we go through very adult problems.
I know.
Being in this certain stage of life, and so like you have to show up seriously for that. And another thing that I really like is, I think, just the concept of boundaries. I feel like we share the same understanding, even though we've actually never talked about this topic
We
with
haven't.
each other before.
Yeah, have I crossed your boundaries as a friend?
No, I mean, but even if it happens,
I
I feel like we can talk to each
Yes.
other about it
Yes,
because
yes,
we're
I
both
agree.
so forward.
Yeah, we we're like not passive aggressive, opposite.
Right.
Yeah, we address the issue at hand.
Yes. And I want to talk about that more later too, but also I feel like the idea that we need to take care of ourselves in order to take care of each other. I think that's really important because there have been times where I, misguidedly thought, I have to maybe put other people first and put myself second or not think about myself.
so Korean.
And it seems like the noble thing to do or the good thing to do, but actually what ends up happening is maybe building up resentment or misunderstandings or something like that. Yeah.
True.
So I feel like whenever we tell each other, and it's just so simple as, I can't talk right now.
Yeah.
Because we have other things to do. And we're just
it's
like,
fine.
okay. And then
to you
we
whenever.
talk like 2 weeks later.
It's fine.
There's no, it's
We don't have to
literally,
explain
there is
ourselves.
no thought
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced the other case where, and I don't know if you have, where you kind of have to explain.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you a story.
Feeling bad about it or something like that. Where I'm so glad we don't have to
have to do
explain
that.
because there's
Yeah.
already this sort of mutual understanding that when we're connecting, we're connected.
Yes.
And when we're not connected and doing our own
we still
thing,
have a good friendship.
right? It's
We're secure in our friendship. It's a secure attachment.
Yes.
I agree with you about the being healthy ourselves and having healthy boundaries for our own individual selves allows us to be healthier in our relationships, not only in friendships, but with our partners and with our family. I will tell you a story of like an unhealthy friendship that I had to just like remove myself from in my 20s when I was in New York. I'm not gonna say the name of the person, but this person and I became really good friends, and we used to just like go out together a lot in our early 20s. And I didn't realize that, and she was just so nice and friendly, but then I realized she didn't really have a lot of other female friends. And she got really attached. Yeah. So I had, she's a newer friend. I already had like a good group of friends in New York from college. My roommate's my best friend from college. And she got jealous when I had time with other girlfriends. And she would say weird, snarky things. And I'm like, am I your boyfriend? You're treating me like you're a jealous girlfriend. And we're not girlfriends. Like, I'm straight. And also, I don't really know you that like well. We were just became friends for a couple of months. And then she would like act out and like just like go off on me for not being just committed to her as a friend, and that I had my nights were not always available for her. So I had this jealous girlfriend.
It feels like a lot.
And she became my ex-girlfriend, I guess. She was never a girlfriend I asked for.
Yeah.
And I just had to slowly remove myself from the situation. I didn't even get to talk to her about it because I was like 22, 23. I didn't really know how to like communicate to a girlfriend like, hey, this is really unhealthy. We need to have other friends too. And you're actually like choking me in my like metaphorically.
That's so interesting. Like, I mean, I know that behavior from that friend is not healthy.
Yes.
But I also find it interesting. I feel like we both need that independence.
We do.
And that, I mean, in a kind of more stronger way.
Okay.
Maybe people? Which is why it works.
Oh yeah.
With our
friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's enduring.
Maybe. Like the compatibility. Like maybe that's what makes it compatible. And also, okay, so I think when you're dealing with people who might be insecure, which I have been myself, and I have insecurities now, but I feel like when people act out in their insecurities in friendship is when they feel that need to use like these tactics, to stay latched on or to get attention or to express that they're hurt. And I think that's what harms the friendship.
Totally does.
I think that's opposite of enduring. And so when I think about us being forward or truthful, like the not needing, not having to rely on tactics or strategies to communicate like the passive aggressiveness or a cold shoulder or distancing jealousy or things like that. I feel like that has been pretty much non-existent in our friendship.
And if we do, we can talk through it. I think that we're like, my husband Trevor always talks about how we're very strong women and very vocal. And I think our close friends are very similar. Like we can be very vocal about what our needs are with each other. And we're independent and don't get jealous. So I think if you're right.
Well, I also think jealousy is normal. Yeah. Like there can be jealousy in friendship, but I think when that is expressed in negative ways, like I could maybe share, I'm feeling jealous that you have this or experience this or whatever. I feel safe to share that. Yeah. But I think in friendships because I have experienced friendships where jealousy is expressed in negative ways, where there's like a passive aggressive comment or backhanded compliment,
down to more negative things.
And that just really confuses me. Yeah, it actually, I really don't know how to
react.
I don't know how to receive that. Yeah. So I actually close up. Yeah. When that happens.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I had a friend that I thought was like emotionally dumping on me all the time and didn't ask and kind of hear how I'm doing. And so every time we talked, it was about all the hardship they're going through. And then this was during the pandemic, so I was like mentally not doing well at all. And I just denied. I was like, I can't do this. And so I distanced myself over time. And then eventually we talked on the phone, and the friend asked, like, is there something going on? I was really grateful she asked, because I was like, yeah, I actually have been distancing myself from you because the last 2 years you've been emotionally dumping and I just cannot handle it. And so I need some distance from you. So I hope you can understand that.
And she understood.
Yeah, and
That's
she was very
great.
understanding. And then she was like, I wish you told me sooner. You know, I could have handled it. Because basically I told the friend, like, I felt like I couldn't share any of my hardships and stuff because you seem like you're going through such a difficult time. And so the friend actually was like, hey, you should have you don't assume you know my boundaries and my limitations of what I can handle.
That's good feedback.
I know.
Yeah.
And she was like, you should just ask.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. But at this moment.
Yeah, it's tough because it is
is.
such an investment,
It is.
right? To like work on a relationship.
It is. Especially at this age. You have less energy and time. So it's harder.
So I feel like there are certain red flags of friendship that you've mentioned, like trauma dumping.
Trauma dumping. Yes.
And another one that you touched on was if that person doesn't have any friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether it's male or female, just other friendship circles they can go to.
Yeah.
And not just dependent on one person, you.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about that process of like when you meet new people and you kind of like vet the friendship, like what are some red flags and green flags, like other ones.
Also, can they celebrate someone's successes versus like
that's a good one.
getting jealous and being a hater?
Yeah.
I think that's a red flag, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Are they happy for other people, or are they like, oh, can you
Yeah.
believe this person did that and that and that?
Yeah. And it's not always expressed so overtly,
Right,
but
right,
like in the backhanded compliment kind of way.
Or with their faces.
Yeah, you could see on their faces they're not
Nonverbal
very
cues
happy.
can tell you everything. If you have nunchi, which is awareness of the situation in Korean. Yeah.
I think one thing that comes to mind is when, like, maybe a friend makes you feel like you owe them something because they did something for you.
Oh.
Have you experienced that?
Can you give Yeah, I've had not only just in friendships, but just professional relationships. You know, I work in politics, so like I remember this one person I used to work with was like, hey, can you do this favor for me and make this connection for my friend? I owe you next time.
Yeah.
I actually didn't like that.
Yeah.
It's too explicit.
Yeah.
It's like, if I want to help you, I want to help you.
Yeah. And it
Don't
doesn't,
say, "I
and
owe
it's like,
you,"
I'm going
or
to
"You
cash
owe me."
in on
Yeah,
this,
it's a
you know.
favor.
Yeah.
It's
I
too
just, something about
transactional.
that, it doesn't vibe with me.
I understand.
Yeah. So when actually, I don't know if I'm overly sensitive to that, but when I experience that in a relationship, that's another thing that sort of closes me up a little bit. Because when it becomes transactional, I don't know, I feel really uncomfortable.
But maybe they don't mean it to be transactional.
Yeah, maybe they don't. Maybe I'm projecting something. I don't know.
It could be both.
But something to explore.
True. Thank you, social
In my
worker
therapy
Prisca.
sessions. My personal, when I go to therapy.
Good call.
Yeah. But yeah, like the emotional dumping, I think that, because I've often, like sometimes when I share with you, I do try to be mindful, like, oh, I don't want to like overly dump everything on her, and maybe these are things that I can take to therapy.
Oh,
good.
good.
I don't think
appreciate
our
that.
friends need to be our therapists.
Our friends are not our therapists,
Yeah.
and that is unfair. I am not professionally trained. Even if you are professionally trained, don't go to your friends. Go to an
Don't
actual.
go to your friends or your partner for therapy.
Well, definitely don't go to
Yeah.
my partner. I do definitely go to my therapist. I need to do therapist, by the way.
I found this list of common uncomfortable feelings and the defense mechanisms that may come from that that people might experience in relationships, in friendships. So, for example, when you feel inadequate, you might get defensive in conflict. when you get angry, you might get passive aggressive or aggressive. When you feel rejection, you might violate a friend's boundaries. And I think all of these things are really normal feelings to have.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't say, like, when you experience these kinds of feelings like rejection or anger, that's a sign to run away from the friendship. But it's just more about, like, identifying, you know, like, I do have certain tactics that I use when in unhealthy ways that I might express anger or whatever, you know, when I don't feel safe.
Which is good to also share negative emotions in friendships and then figure out what's going on.
So I think that's why the vulnerability thing is important, because that really takes away from the need to use these like harmful strategies to communicate, and then you can just communicate directly how you feel. You know, like, oh, I felt like rejected or whatever, or not considered. I didn't feel seen when this happened.
That's
or whatever.
true.
So I think that's important.
I wish I did that more in my 20s.
Yeah,
I'm definitely doing it more now.
I wish I did that more.
But
so I think we're growing into those key elements of friendship.
Which are?
For us, I think what we said were authenticity, respecting boundaries,
vulnerability,
mutuality.
What is mutuality?
It's being able to consider one another. Yeah. So even like that example that you shared with your friend when she's when you said I needed space and then she understood, it's being able to step back and being like, oh, you know, she's not saying this or doing this to hurt me, but she's doing it to protect our friendship. Yeah,
so that we can have a friendship that goes beyond the moment, because instead of running away from the friendship, it's because I care.
Right.
I was like, I just need some distance right now.
Yeah. Now we're gonna move into our segment called Pop Culture Kiki.
Yes.
With our intern Maria.
Thank you, Maria. What are our questions?
Okay. First one. What do you think about Taylor Swift in terms of the climate and environment, since she does use her private jet a lot and there's some controversy on that on the internet? I don't know if you've heard.
Yes, I have heard about how her private jet is affecting the world and climate. For people who care about climate change issues, that it's not good. Okay, that is a fair point to bring up. I do think for her, it is probably hard for her to take a regular plane because she will get mobbed and the plane will never leave. So practically, I'm not sure what other transport she has.
Yeah.
I wish she could just teleport. She needn't she just needs magical talents. So she can just teleport. That's the cheapest, most climate efficient, and
I agree.
Wouldn't stall other people's travel.
Yeah, I don't have any definite opinion on it because I can understand why she would need to travel that way.
Yeah.
But it also feels like a lot of pressure on one single person
to deal with climate change.
Yeah.
It's a collective
but I can
effort.
understand the anger towards that.
Next, can we truly separate artists from their artwork? Because there are often some artists who have controversial thoughts and opinions. For example, J.K. Rowling,
Harry Potter.
Oh my god, I feel like I'm on like Miss
America.
Like how to answer.
Can you separate the artist and the artwork, Prisca?
Okay, like J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
It is.
Because I feel like everybody takes something different from like a piece of art or book, and it speaks to them differently, and you can't take that away from someone. But then definitely if the artist holds a viewpoint that you don't agree with, or that is that you believe to be wrong, I don't know. That's hard.
I don't think you really can necessarily, because the artist created the artwork from somewhere very deep inside that's personal. So maybe the artwork is not an expression of all the different ideas that you might have, but some parts are. I don't think you can totally ever separate the artist from the artwork. I think you could still have differing opinions on the artist versus the artwork. I don't think you can separate the two, if that makes sense.
This is too deep. I can't.
Okay, next question.
Okay, I have a list of popular Gen Z musical artists.
Oh. Yeah, let's share our thoughts.
Okay, so one, Doja Cat.
She seems cool from the few clips that I've seen.
No comment.
I don't know that much.
No comment.
Next, Billie Eilish.
Oh, I like her a lot. She seems...
What was I made for? I don't know. That's a...
Yeah, Barbie.
What else? Didn't she come out with a new album?
And she did a talk with Jennie from Blackpink in Korea.
Okay, cool.
And I just appreciated that she was trying to reach a global artist and work with another artist that's not American or an American US-based one. I also really liked her interview that she did. I think it was with the Hollywood Reporter or something like that. But I've seen a couple of interviews, and she just seems very authentic. And she's also shared about her trauma in the music industry as a young woman artist, which is really just tough. I can't imagine. I mean, I love her friendship with her brother, who like helps make her music too, and they just seem to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of them explaining their musical process, which I thought was really interesting, and I appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's like the behind the scenes and a lot of thought that goes into it.
Yeah.
Or what they're inspired by.
Yeah,
I like that.
So talented. I like her a lot.
Okay, Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, what is it?
Espresso.
What's the other one?
I don't know.
No.
Dun, dun, dun. So, what are your thoughts on Sabrina?
I like her songs. They're very catchy.
They're very catchy. They're very good summer poppy music.
I read this article where, like, it was talking about the female artists today, the younger group of artists, and how their songs are... It's not, like, geared towards the male gaze, but it's speaking to fellow women and almost, like, sharing the inside jokes or the, understanding that we have about the world.
I love it.
I like that.
That's cool.
And Sabrina Carpenter was one of the artists that was mentioned in that article. Yeah. But that song.
The Weeknd.
The Weeknd.
Ugh, cringe.
Why is he...
There was a TV series called The Idol, I think, that he was in, where he was a cult leader, and...
Yeah, but is that a reflection of him or the writing?
Yeah, it was super creepy.
So he's creepy, or his character was creepy?
The fact that he played that character, and he and the director or producer of that show are really good friends, and they show like their gross side of being gross people on the show, and they went to the next level. If you like listen and read up on him after that, I just lost like a lot of respect for him.
That's sad, because I thought his songs were so catchy.
His songs are really catchy. That's why the question was like, how do you separate the artist from the artwork? It's hard. Like Chris Brown.
Yeah.
It's kind of... Anyways. I'm... No Weekend, please.
Save your tears for another. Is that a song?
Lastly,
Yeah, it is.
Lastly, Ariana Grande.
We can't be friends, but I like to just pretend. You can hear now. That's all I know.
I've heard she's also been embroiled in controversy previously too, so that's, I guess, also related back to the other question.
Yeah, I think she's really talented as a pop artist, and she has amazing vocal range. I think she's really
very talented.
She's so talented, like Billie Eilish and Sabrina and Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
I think she has a lot of controversy with her love life, and whatever. She's a young person, and a lot of things happen, but doesn't take away from her talent. I think she's super talented.
I mean, I'm so out of the loop in terms of like what their personal lives are, and I think that is sort of the sad side of being famous is it just comes out and everybody knows your business.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I necessarily need to know all of that in order to appreciate her songs.
That's true.
Yeah.
I like her music.
Yeah. I think
Thank You
they're
Next.
very
I love that
catchy.
song too.
Yeah.
Thank
And
You
she's coming
Next.
up in that movie Wicked.
Oh yeah.
plays
I bet
Glinda.
she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That should be a good movie.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Like, subscribe, and heart, and all of that stuff.
Heart.
5-star reviews.
5-star reviews. Yeah, follow us at Fighting Club Podcast on Instagram. And tune in for our next episode.
Yes. To all our friends listening,
Fighting!
fighting!